What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Team Solemn Circus live match. So on the left side here, we have Salamangreat getting hit a little bit on the ban list with the copies of Rivalry as well as Gozen Match, going down to 1 each. And then obviously on the right side here, we are playing Bystial Runick, a deck that I've been testing out. I did put up a poll a while ago about which decks you guys wanted me to play. I believe Fire King ended up winning that duel, but ending that poll there. But I was testing out a bunch of the decks. Wanting to play it, I was playing on the POVs for a bit, the Bystial Runicks, but we're going to be sticking off with Fire King here. Before we dive into like, comment, subscribe, we are going to be seeing the Bystial Runick player choosing to go, who's going to go first here. And we're going to start it off with a normal summon of a Quem, I believe. It's going to be able to activate the effect, and Quem is going to be multiple level 4 tuner bodies, dumping a Cartesia. This deck is really cool. I really liked how it worked. Reminded me a lot of the Naturia Runick deck. And then if we have a Runick card, we can actually then activate to summon out from the extra deck here. So summoning out a copy of the Hugin. And then Hugin as well as Quem will be able to activate, discarding here a copy of Cartesia to summon itself out. So maybe we should have dumped a copy of Bystial Aluber instead. And then we're going to be seeing the Fountain going to be activating there. We're also going to activate a Tip. This could have searched for Fountain early. It doesn't really matter if we search for Fountain, I suppose. There's lots of lines here. We could search for Destruction, and then we're going to be banishing the top one, which is going to be an Ash Blossom. And then we get to draw 2 more additional cards here. We then can use the copy of the... we should do the Cartesia there to go for a copy of... we are using the Cartesia to go for a copy of the draw one. This is Triage Master. Something that we are definitely not of this deck. We are not even trying. And we're just going to be passing turn on this. We could have gone for a Barone, but I'm not too sure why we chose not to. We're going to see a Tip being activated once again here. And it's going to let us search for a copy of perhaps a Flashing Fire. Going for a copy of Freezing Curses instead. We do get rid of the Sanctuary from their deck. A very important card for the Salamangreat. Deck, not being able to relink those cards. We're going to see the normal summon out of a Foxy. And then there will be able to go into a copy of the Almirage, or not Almirage, of the Balinx, but they're not going to be able to search the copy of the Sanctuary because it is banished. We are going to be chaining Destruction on the Will here, banishing 4 cards from their deck. We hit double copies of the Silent Mining as well as a Gazelle here and a Spinny, which is quite nice. And then we're going to activate the effect of the Fountain to draw 2 more cards here. I'm surprised we didn't go for a copy of... We didn't even try to go... When they went for Balinx, we could have went for a bring out of the Cartesia here. You're going to see them set 3 cards. And pass. Yeah, there are definitely a few misplays on the branded Runick side. I believe this was my first time playing it, but still. We're going to see them activate Destruction on the back row. We're going to be chaining the copy of Circle here. Which is going to resolve. We're going to see them summon out the copy of Gazelle. This is going to be preventing them from getting their deck ripped. Then we can activate the Allure here to summon, or to rip from their hand. We're choosing not to do that, eh? Oh, it's not in the draw phase, and we went to the draw phase to do it. Wow, so we're going to activate the effect of Allure to summon here. I'm just going to go for a copy of the Hugin once again. We can then also chain the Quem as well as a Fountain there, which we're going to be activating, discarding the second Quem here. And then they're going to chain Imperm on the copy of the Hugin, or on the Quem, I should say, which is going to stop us from getting that additional body. We will get to search for a copy of the Fountain, but, you know, we're already getting the Fountain effects. I mean, this does stop us from getting a Barone SP, but at this point, like, Barone should already been on the field, especially if we had another copy of Quem in the hand to normal summon. I mean, we should also have a copy of Cartesia in the hand because a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard. So then we're going to be activating the effect of the freezing curses there, banishing the top 4 of their deck, and then we're also going to be putting back and drawing. And that's going to scoop it up for those they have lost too much, and the grind game would be unreal. So they're going to be scooping it up there and admitting defeat to us. Definitely a lots of misplays there. We should have seen a Barone being made. We also should have seen the Cartesia add back. You definitely want to have multiple bodies for your deck. You know, kind of the purpose of linking and synchroing up is when you're able to actually accomplish those synchros and adding back your card so you can continue the climb. But we did get better with the deck. It just, unfortunately, that was kind of like our first times playing it, and it didn't go too well for us. You guys ever take a brand new deck to locals and see what it's like, especially when you play it with like a simulator online, and then you're like forced to go with these weird interactions there? Sometimes I find it like fun just to go play a deck that I've never actually touched before, especially in the POVs. I know a lot of you guys get kind of tilted when you're like, oh, well, he shouldn't play a deck that he doesn't know, or like, oh, I misplay. I mean, if you guys never misplay, then you guys must be YCS winners. I don't even think there's even one YCS winner that watches the channel, personally myself, but if you guys have won a YCS, let me know in the comment section down below. And that's pretty amazing. I'll have to ask you guys for some tips. But we are going to be diving on into Game 2 here, hopefully playing a bit better without those misplays. Salamangreat will be able to choose to go first or second here, most likely choosing to go first. You know, wanting to set up a crazy board, they can end up going for like, I think they can end like decode as or double copies of the Link 4, which has spiked up in price significantly. I know at the time recording, it's like $30 right now, the Raging Phoenix, which is honestly wild, but it is a fire format, so we're going to be seeing them normal summon out a Salamangreat of Fire, talking about it, which is then going to be able to search them for a copy of, I believe that was Gazelle. A link into the Baylink, summon out the Gazelle, and we're going to be dumping the copy of the Roar here, activating the Spinny to make it gain attack, then there's summoning out the Spinny, going into a Mirage Stalio, you know, not searching for, or they did activate the Baylink's effect. But we're going to be seeing the Jaguar going to be summoning out there. We're then going to link away into a Sunlight Wolf. Did they forget to add? They definitely mentioned it. Sunlight Wolf also has gone up in price significantly as well. You know, the Ghost Rares are very expensive. The Ghost Rares also look sick. But we're going to see them summon out the copy of Weasel here, which I believe is what they searched off the fire. And then we're going to link 2 away into a copy of the Sunlight Wolf once again here. This will let them activate the Weasel effect, giving us a copy of Gazelle and then letting them draw a card. Alongside Roar will also be able to reset itself. Or I guess it's reset, add to hand. We're going to be going for the copy of Raging Phoenix, and then of course we're going to be bouncing back with the copy of the Mirage Stalio there. And they are realizing now that they did forget to add it to hand. They did mention it, so I say yeah, it's fine. You know, adding the copy of the Sanctuary, and they're going to be able to activate that. Then relink into the copy of Raging Phoenix, which let them search for a copy of Roar, I believe. Or they already have Roar, so they're going to be able to search for the Rage. And then it's also going to give them a pop 4. But searching for a copy of Will instead here. This will give them, this gives them a play through a copy of Nibiru. And then we're going to be seeing them set 3 cards and simply pass on this. And we know one of them is going to be a Roar. And potentially having the Rage as well. You know, they did not search it, which means that sometimes they can just have it. But we're going to see Lubellion going to activate its effects. They're searching for a copy of a Bystial. And like the Bystial cards are not that crazy in this deck. I guess not in this deck. They're crazy in this deck, but they're not crazy against this deck because of the fact that they're not lights and darks, obviously. But we're going to be adding the Bystial Aluber here. So maybe you wanted to go for a tuner if we don't have access to it. But this doesn't get us multiple tuners, unfortunately. So we're going to see them activate a Flashing Fire on the copy of the Phoenix here. That will destroy it. It does get protected by the Balinks there, so I do not banish. And then we're going to be seeing them activate a Tip. And we do see a Circle there as well. But it looks like that's going to go through and searching or summoning out a Hugin there. You know, Tip to summon is weird. Discarding another Tip in the hand. You know, Roar's a pretty safe bet to get rid of this. And we're already down 3 of the cards. We have 2 cards left in hand. And we know one of them is a Bystial Aluber. So they're going to let that go through. I mean, this does not threaten the board, as well as you can also roar the fountain. Or even, yeah. We're going to see them activate the copy of or normal summon with the Bystial Aluber here. And so now we have 1 more card in the hand as well as the fountain. We're going to go for an SP Little Knight, which can then activate its effects on summon. We're going to get hit with a copy of the Roar there. And then we can activate a fountain. And if they have Rage, they are just a better player. And they do, and we scoop it up, realizing it's going to be too late. You know, when they search for the Will, we can pretty much guarantee that they already have the Rage in the hand. Unless, you know, that's most likely what they would be doing, unless they don't think they're going to really need it. They could have, like, multiple hand traps, then also, like, just not thinking the Roar is going to be, or the Rage is going to be necessary there. Which is also a possibility, but we see them having it, and then, like, knowing the next turn they can just pop a card and then summon 4 monsters, which is very crazy, and that's going to be enough room for OTK. Plus, we don't even have a battle phase, so, you know, not going to be good for us in any way, shape, or form. But moving on to game 3 here, Runick will be able to choose to go first once again. You know, the Runick cards are quite good at going first, and of course they are good at destroying stuff going second, but they do have that weakness of not being able to play, and you can't really play hand traps when you play the Runick cards. You know, obviously some decks can, but we see a lot of decks like teching out options and playing cards like Dark Ruler or Droplets as well, because of the fact that they can like send it with their copies of the Runick cards when they activate. They can like chain multiple ones and go for a copy. It's like a good board breaker cards rather than with those 1-for-1 hand traps. But we're going to activate a fountain here, then activate a Slumber to special summon itself, going for a copy of Hugin. Hugin can then activate its effects, and we are reading the fountain, so maybe having another Runick card in the hand to attempt to draw 2 cards off of that. So we're going to go, we can't really, I mean, we can go Hugin 1, discard for cost, then Fountain 2. But we then get to summon out the copy of Cartesia. And we're going to be going for most likely a copy of the Coral Dragon here. This will get us a draw when it hits the graveyard. So needing that extra tuner body. which we're going to be using the destruction to summon out a Gary. Gary can then add us back the fountain that we put over top of each other. And Lennox gets that additional draw 1. Plus the coral when it gets linked away here for a copy of Barone. You know, doing it correctly this time, getting that draw. We're going to be looking into the extra deck, seeing what we can potentially do here. We are going to activate a Solemn on the Gary, summoning himself out. Then we're going to go Barone Pop to be able to dump the copy of Lubellion here. Do we maybe have another Bystial in the hand to be able to summon itself out, then tag out for the Lubellion? Then, no, we're just going to go end phase, add back here. That's a interesting choice. I mean, I suppose you want to get the Lubellion in the graveyard. But at what cost? Like, we're going to see the Imperm on the Barone. And then we're going to be seeing a copy of Cosmic Cyclone on the Fountain. This is quite impactful. And like, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, do we maybe just set a Runick card? Like, if you have multiple Runick cards in the hand, is it really safe to just set one? And then you can't really lose to it? Like, if you get hit with Cosmic, especially because Cosmic is so relevant this format, you know, maybe if you have like multiple, you at least set one of them. And therefore, if you get like hit with a blown out card, you're not doing the worst. You just like lose one of the cards in your hand rather than multiple cards. Then we're going to be tagging out into the copy of Solemn here, thinking, well, at least I'll have something. You know, can dump a Bystial Aluber as well when it dies. We're going to see them go for the Salamangreat combo with quickness, going for a Balinx. Balinx going to be searching here for the Sanctuary, but they've used like 2 cards out of their 6. So like at this point, I was feeling pretty all right. And then of course they're going to go for the copy of the second Balinx, and I'm like, okay, well at this point they can't really link to anything else. But they will give them a copy of Jack Jaguar to be able to like do their shenanigans with, putting back to the extra deck and then summoning itself out. And I was like, okay, well their top deck was maybe just the copy of Imperm, so that's fine. But it looks like I couldn't see what they really could do with this board here. We're going to see them go for a second copy of Balinx, link away for a copy of the Splash Mage. They're not fire locked, so it's going to go to bring back out the copy of Jack Jaguar here. Summon number 2 of Jack Jaguar, going into a Heat Soul. Heat Soul will let them draw an additional card, which is quite good. We are going to then see a charge being activated here. This will let them shuffle back 2 of them to summon out 1. You know, a interesting card that not a lot of people are not playing, but I think it definitely is quite good. We saw it at a regionals. So summon number 3 of the Jack Jaguar, linking away for a Balinx, the 3rd copy of Balinx. Then we're going to see the Gazelle being summoned here. So having the Gazelle being the drawn off Decode Talker is, but at least what I thought it was, it's kind of correct. And then off Gazelle we dump, I believe it's a copy of Spinny for that extra body. Then we're going to see them link to go into a copy of the Raging Phoenix here. Spinny will then be able to resummon himself out. And they can actually link away for XYZ for a copy of the Mirage Stalio here. And then we're going to be seeing them activate the effect to summon out another copy of the Fire. Fire can then let them search for a copy of a Weasel here. And they have another copy of the Cosmic Cyclone in the hand, which is quite funny there. We do control 2 Salamangreat monsters, so we're going to be able to summon out the Weasel. And like they're just getting so many bodies on the field. From going to double copies of Balinks here to just having this crazy board and not even relinking into the copy of the Raging Phoenix, they're going to actually hard link into it, and then they're going to give us the copy of the Spinny by putting back the good old copy of Weasel and drawing them an additional card, and they drew into a Will. That is insane here. They're going to activate the Will to go for 4 summons there. Or, they search for Will off of the Sunlight, or the Raging Phoenix there. And that's going to summon out 4 bodies. They can go into a Pit Knight early here, going into a Proxy F Magician. This can then activate its effects, using both those to go into the fusion monster for Salamangreats. And if you guys have not seen what this card does, it turns the attack to 0 and attacks for game here. Beating over anything that we could have done there. We did have another Runick card. We had 2 Runick cards in the hand there, so we definitely should have set one. But very unfortunate for us. If we would have had the Flashing Fire, we could have done a little bit of something, which we probably should have been setting, because no matter what, you're going to be destroyed. If you set it, oh well. They did have the second Cosmic, which would have done a lot for them, but that doesn't really make much of a difference for us, at least. Regardless, hope you guys are watching the video. I wanted to feature off the Salamangreat OTK, which is absolutely crazy. I didn't know that could do that, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Stay safe. Peace.